Hey guys, I'm back with another video, and we have a part 2 of spring newness, like the Almond Croissant and the book Loft and all that kind of stuff. I was able to finally get a hold of it and have them in my possession, so we'll haul that and talk about that. And then we have some SAS knickknacks, mostly just stuff for my mom that I'll just sort of like tack in here, just part of the video, and that'll be pretty much it. For the SAS front, I have gone to multiple stores after my very initial haul and just like total snooze fest at most of the stores. Just the same old, like a ton of candy emporium and ton of lavender marshmallow, you know, a lot of that kind of stuff. I see hot pink cocoa everywhere. That's pretty much like the only candles that I really see left over at this point. Some twisted peppermints, that kind of stuff. But nothing really juicy by the way of 75% off or hidden gems whatsoever. I think I saw one watermelon lemonade and eucalyptus mint blend candle for 75% off, but just heaps and heaps and heaps of the body care that they brought in, as well as the ones that are clearancing out, and then very minimal candles. And I know a lot of us like sort of complain or talk about how this SAS sucks or whatever. From a business standpoint though, the idea is that you don't want overstock or clearance, so like mission accomplished on their end, that they don't have that many candles to sell through or anything that they have to put 75% off. Because if you're a business, wouldn't you rather sell your products at full price or at 50% off rather than having to mark them all the way down to 75% off? So the whole point of a business is to ideally not have a ton of clearance or overstock left over. So like it's good from a Bath & Body Works standpoint that they don't have so much that they have to clearance out through SAS, and that's kind of why we're seeing less stuff, or every SAS seems worse. I guess it's because maybe they're getting better at their like supply and demand, their inventory management, so that's just something to keep in mind when you're thinking of that. Really, like the stuff that's like left over for SAS right now is the stuff that they brought in specifically for SAS to supplement the clearance stuff that they have left over. So like, you know, a ton of the bought for sale wallflowers, as well as some of those candles that they brought out for the sale. You know, the body care, the throwback stuff was specifically for this SAS floor set. So like a lot of that stuff is made for this floor set for the sale, and that's why we see a lot of those, but not too much leftover clearance or overstock because, hello, they want to move that through. And especially with Candle Day always being before this SAS, that usually wipes out a lot of their inventory as well. So from their standpoint, it's like, okay, great, we don't have a ton of overstock. So bad for us from finding deals, but for them, this is kind of like what they plan on purpose, is to not have excessive overstock. So just keep that in mind when we go into our SAS like finds. It's just kind of like, it's just the state of how Bath & Body Works is now. So yeah. Yeah, no hidden gems. I think I only bought myself one thing, and then the rest of it was just my mom's SAS stuff. But before we get into that, we will do the newness. So I was looking for the rest of that Good to Be Home collection candles, and I found all of them. And so we have an Almond Croissant right here, and that's what that looks like. It has like a tile wrap around on it and like a sort of copper lid. This one says toasted almonds, vanilla glaze, and flaky croissant. I have burned this one twice already, and boy, is it so strong. This is very intense. I would say almost cloying. It becomes very suffocating in my bedroom when I burn it. It's actually quite crazy how strong it is. So if you want a strong candle, whoa. But I feel like a lot of their pistachio and almond fragrances are always super crazy powerhouses. So this is truly no exception. But yeah, what does this smell like? You definitely get that traditional sort of almond pistachio fragrance that you get from Bath & Body Works. Their pistachio and almond honestly seem kind of interchangeable. I would say the only thing is maybe pistachio tends to be a little bit more like salty, crunchy for them rather than the almond. The almond tends to have like this like cherry almond undertone to it. So this kind of has that type of sort of cherry almond like creaminess in there. But there is indeed actually a croissant note in here, and I appreciate that because I didn't want it to just be pistachio and toasted vanilla or like almond blossom that we've had before. I wanted something that was a little bit more distinctly like bready or croissant. And while it's not quite the bready, flaky croissant action that I was imagining, there is still like a buttery, sort of bready, almost like savory component to this candle that does make it a little bit more distinctly croissant than just a run-of-the-mill almond fragrance, so I appreciate that. But yeah, it's their usual kind of run-of-the-mill almond pistachio fragrance, has a cherry undertone to it, and then it has a sort of bakery croissant, flaky, almost salty, savory is the best way I can describe it. It almost kind of has like a everything bagel type of like garlic, onion, spices element to it, and it sounds so weird, and I wouldn't get too hung up on that, but it's just me nitpicking when I smell it and when I burn it. when I hover directly over it, there's like this weird like salty garlic onion powder, like everything bagel type of feel to it. But in a sense, I guess it's off-putting when I smell it directly hovering over it. But when it comes together overall and it's like traveling in the room, it does give it something that's a little bit more bready, savory, bakery in the way that a croissant would be versus just a run-of-the-mill almond fragrance. So, and especially when you compare it side by side with all the other almond pistachio fragrances I'm about to do here real quick, there is something in here that's actually kind of savory on the croissant front, but I don't mind that. But yeah, so that was Almond Croissant right there. In comparison to all the suspects that we have the almond/almond blossom candle right here, and that's what that looks like. This was Sweet Almond Blossom, Vanilla Orchid, and Sandalwood. This one burned absolutely abysmally. Oh my god, it's just like small, nubby little wicks, just like for the majority of the burn. This one has that distinct like Japanese cherry blossom type of like grody, dirty, mature sandalwood note in it that I don't love. And this also is very similar to the Almond Blossom body care that I actually really enjoy that one. For whatever reason, the body care comes together really well, but in the candle, it starts getting burnt and grody, so it smells like dirty sandalwood. But this definitely has that mature, perfumey quality to it that we always get from their almond/almond blossom fragrance. So this one's more inedible perfume body care with that addition of the Vanilla Orchid and the Sandalwood. So it is not this, but shares, of course, a similar almond nutty note. We, of course, have the Pistachio and Toasted Vanilla as well. This was the original packaging, but it came out again just for this Christmas time. Salted Pistachio, Toasted Vanilla Almonds. And remember, this was actually supposed to be Pistachio Cream Puff in the database at one point, which also got the hand soap, but so this could potentially be a pistachio cream puff fragrance as well. And this one smells, it's a little bit less, I guess, almond and more salted pistachios, I would say. There's a saltiness to it, but it's not in that like weird savory croissant element that we get from almond croissant. But yeah, there's like a salty crunchiness mixed with like a distinctly pistachio type of fragrance. And it almost has like a baby wipes type of feel to it when you smell it on cold, which is I guess what that vanilla is doing to it. Like almost like a vanilla baby wipes quality to it that the Almond Croissant doesn't have. It's not this, but immensely similar. Like if you like pistachio and toasted vanilla, you'll probably like Almond Croissant. It's just like really pulling hairs at this point, but they are different fragrances. So that was pistachio and toasted vanilla right there. And lastly, we have pistachio ice cream from the original 3-wick release, and that's what that looks like. Roasted pistachio, frozen almond cream, and lush vanilla bean. And it's interesting because they tend to, when they have a pistachio candle, almond is almost a note that follows it right afterwards. So it's almost interchangeable even for them. Yeah, this is, it's like pistachio toasted vanilla minus the salty crunchiness, and a little bit more heavy on this like immensely sweet, like heavy, creamy quality to it. But a similar almond nutty fragrance to this. But yeah, in comparison, this has that like buttery, salty, flaky, savory, like savory spice note to it that you don't quite pick up when you smell it alone, but in comparison, yeah, it's like so noticeable. This is so much creamier and sweeter, and this one has a flaky, salty, buttery, savory spice bread feel to it, which is what a croissant is supposed to be, so I appreciate that. But just very strong. I don't think I need another one just because I have 2 pistachio toasted vanillas and pistachio ice cream still in my collection, and they are similar. But yeah, it's a serviceable almond croissant fragrance. So that's that right there, and if you want something strong, then check it out. The only other like fragrance I can compare it to would be Chestnut Glazed Croissant, which was the test candle from that Artisan Market collection that then went wide as Campfire Donut a few years. It's not at all like that. Campfire Donut didn't have almond in it, so it's not that. And although I guess the first one has supposedly chestnut in it, but that one, the croissant / Campfire Donut note was just totally different from whatever's offering here. So those are not related in my opinion. So that was the exhaustive Almond Croissant overview. So there was that. Moving on, we have Book Loft right here. I was totally intrigued by this one because it had those vague, like fake notes in the description that doesn't actually have real notes in it. And so this one just reads, cozy up under a warm blanket as you turn the pages of your favorite book. And this is totally not at all what I expected. I was expecting something more like, I guess antique woodsy, like cedar chest type of feel, like maybe black tea rose. We had that, or even like Nook from that Scandinavian inspired candle collection where they had to rip off all the labels because of how similar it was to the original Scandinavian candle that they were taking inspiration from. This was soft musk, vanilla bean, and cedarwood essential oil. This is so weird. Yeah, I think I only got it because it was 75% off and it was that infamous candle. Not at all like this. This, once again, has that sort of like hamster cage cedar shavings type of feel to it, with a little bit of sweetness. Totally not this. This just has that weird like pencil shavings now. Just like wasn't a fan of this fragrance at all. It's not at all like that. And so what does Book Loft smell like? So I think there was a Reading Nook candle that was in one of those rando single wick test collections. And did it like have like hazelnut and like woods or something like in it? This has nothing to do with hazelnut or woods or whatever. So I don't think this is at all that Reading Nook fragrance. But this one is actually quite floral, believe it or not. It's actually very floral. And that's probably the reason why they went with a very ambiguous description, is because floral, people always get turned off by it. But if they sell you a mood and a completely vague description, then most people can't pick up what a floral note is, and they'll be like, oh, whatever, I just like Book Loft because that's a cute name on it. But this has definitely some kind of white floral. I would categorize it in like a jasmine type of way, or even, it could even be like a lily, that type of fragrance as well, and possibly like a lilac. It's very much in like a spring, like white floral category is what I get from it. But if I had to pinpoint it, it would be like jasmine. And it kind of smells like if you took white tea and sage, or white tea and jasmine that we had here as well. There's definitely like a floral tea note. So white tea, especially in fragrance, tends to have a floral aroma to it. But even when you drink the tea itself, it kind of has like a floral aroma in your mouth. So it has like a floral tea quality to it, but it's made a little bit more cozy and musky by the way of like something like cozy cashmere. So imagine if you took white tea and sage, or white tea and jasmine, and mix sort of like the warm coziness of cozy cashmere, and merge the two together. That's kind of what you would get from Book Loft, is what at least my nose picks up. Yeah, there's definitely like a white tea or a tea floral fragrance that's very similar to like the kind of like jasmine you would get in this. We have that jasmine green tea fragrance as well. It has that type of like tea floral feel to it. This is so much brighter and zestier because it has that like insane bergamot note in it. And I think this is also the same as white tea and ginger. So this has that gingery zing to it. So it doesn't have the brightness and the gingery sharpness that this fragrance has. But think of like that sort of spa, hotel, high-end, sort of clean floral, tea floral fragrance you would get from like white tea and sage, and then just make that a little bit more cozy and warm by the way of cozy cashmere. And if you read the notes for cozy cashmere, I think like at one point it had like jasmine in the notes of it as well, and I think now it has like lavender and sandalwood or something in it. But this one has a kind of like a musky sweetness that you would get from like a cozy cashmere feel. So it's kind of like if you had some floral tea mixed with like a warm cozy cashmere blanket. And I guess that does evoke sitting in a Book Loft or a Reading Nook or whatever and having a cozy blanket around you while sipping some tea. So it kind of makes sense in terms of like the atmosphere or the mood that they were going for, but just annoying because it doesn't actually tell you what the notes are, but that's what my nose picks up on. So yeah. That was Book Loft, so that was that right there. Moving on, we have Spring Clothesline, and that's what that looks like right here. It's super weird label. I don't really understand. It's like, I don't know if those are supposed to be curtains or some kind of like fabric that's hanging to dry, or if they're blue paint brush strokes amongst like some soap bubbles. Just really weird packaging on this one. But this one says lemon water, sun-dried blossoms, and golden amber. I've actually burned this one twice already, and it's incredibly light. I would say like no more than like a 2 to a 3 in a smaller bedroom, so don't expect a grand throw out of this one. This is not what I expected either. But I actually appreciate that because I was just expecting another run-of-the-mill, super strong, soapy, like laundry detergent fragrance. And it's not that. It's a little bit more lighthearted, and I would even say floral. It really recalls Under the Magnolia Tree. If you took a more diluted approach to Under the Magnolia Tree, yeah, they're quite similar. This one maybe has just a little bit more of a like soapy water quality to it, But whatever floral and lemon citrus blend is going on in this candle is very much present in this. I would say, yeah, but there's a hint of soapiness that Under the Magnolia Tree does not have. So if you wanted something like this, dilute it and then add a little bit of a soapy cleanness to it, then that's kind of what Spring Clothesline is. You get that like lemon citrus note that gives it sort of a fresh, clean component to it. But there's definitely a sort of like clean floral chilling in the background as well. Just very lighthearted, clean, and refreshing. But because it's so light, it's just kind of nondescript and it doesn't really smell like a whole lot when it's burning. So that was Spring Clothesline right there. It's not at all anything like the usual suspect like these type of candles. So we have Fresh Sheets, which was the citrus, lavender, and watery apple. Yeah, no, this is like balls to the walls, like friggin' laundry detergent, like super harsh and sharp and soapy. Not at all like that. We also have Laundry Day, which is just even a harsher, even more sharper version of Fresh Sheets. Yeah, this is once again just very much that insanely crisp laundry fragrance. So it doesn't really compare to that. We also have the Fresh Cotton fragrance here as well. Soft Cotton Blossom, Lemon Zest, and Lily of the Valley. This has more of that like distinctly soapy cotton fragrance. This doesn't really smell like cotton to me, so it's definitely not fresh cotton either. We have the Linen Sheets fragrance here, which used to be pure white cotton, and this was the Ocean Air, Anjou Pear, Violet Petals, and Warm Vanilla. Yeah, this is more of like almost like a baby wipes slash like fabric softener sweetness and cotton creamy action, so totally not Linen Sheets. We also have the Crisp Linen Breeze from that White Barn Test collection, and this was the Cotton Blossoms, Dewy Peony Petals, and Sweet Vanilla Musk. Yeah, once again, these all have such a very strong, sharp, like cottony fragrance to it that Spring Clothesline does not really possess. And then lastly in my collection, I have the Blue Sky Breeze here as well. And this was the Morning Spring Air, Fresh Violet Petals, Crisp Gala Apples, and English Ivy. This has that presence of the apple mixed with the clean cotton fresh laundry note. And so this one's just, yeah, it has like a apple fruitiness, but not necessarily a lemon fruitiness that this has. So overall, this one's the lightest out of all of them and just very nondescript. So honestly, it's probably one of their weakest, like, clothesline, laundry, linen type of fragrance. Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of there. So that was Spring Clothesline right there. And lastly, we have Wildberry Jam Donut. I'm not even really sure why I got this, because after I got home, I was like, wait, I have Happy Hanukkah. The current one that I'm burning, as well as a backup one. And when I was burning this one, I was just like, I feel like I was just burning this candle, and it's because, hello, I had Happy Hanukkah. So this is the return of Wildberry Jam Donut. Again, sweet Wildberry Jam, powdered donut, and brown sugar crumble. I have burned this one. It burned fine. It smells just like Wildberry Jam Donut does all the time. The issue with Wildberry Jam Donut is that it always gets super murky and nubby and nasty and burnt smelling mid-range. So I'll have to see if it does that again. But yeah, this is just very similar to Happy Hanukkah. Here we have a brand new Happy Hanukkah. They are different on cold though. This one has more of like a warmer brown sugar crumble component to it, with that Wildberry jam in there. But this one smells kind of off or weird on cold, but it's very nice when you go to burn it. This has more of this like sharp, yeasty, powdered sugar quality to it. There's almost like a bitterness that you would equate with like how realistic a real like outer fried donut would smell like. I guess this is actually more realistic in that sort of like bitter fried component that you would get from a jelly donut. Yeah, this is actually a more authentic version of Wildberry Jam Donut. Yeah, honestly, now I'm smelling the two. Even though this has like a slight weirdness on cold, I think this is the more superior jam donut fragrance. It's just so much more realistic. You get the jam donut, you get almost like this like sort of fried, greasy, yeasty, powdered sugar note in there. Yeah, I think this is actually the superior jam donut fragrance. And this one just seems kind of like weak and watered down by comparison. But I used to enjoy this candle previously, so I don't know. They're just so freaking similar at this point. So Wildberry Jam Donut, and that was the Happy Hanukkah one in comparison. Let's see, what else do I want to talk about? I just want to highlight this one more time because I've gone into some stores where they just don't have this collection out anymore, or they've already sold through all of them. So yeah, get this if you like it on cold. Vanilla Coconut Serve. I just wanted to talk about it one more time. I haven't done a review on it, but I love this. I think there were a lot of reports saying it was really weak or unscented, but my one that I had was so immensely strong. I had to actually blow it out in my room because it was so strong, but this is amazing. It's like Honolulu Sun mixed with a creamy whipped vanilla fragrance to it. I friggin' love it. So I just wanted to throw that in there again to like, I know it's not on sale right now, but just have it at the back of your mind next time there's a sale. So vanilla coconut syrup right there. It's just some stores don't even have them in anymore, so it's just a little alarming. So I'm just happy that I have the two that I have right now. So that was that. And then lastly, we have some SAS knickknacks that I picked up for my mom. And it was the day that the soaps and the wallflowers were like $2.99 or whatever, $2.95, whatever the price was. So we got her a fresh balsam hand soap, always an amazing tried and true, awesome like Christmas tree fragrance, and it's great that it comes in hand soap now. We have Honolulu Sun I was just talking about with vanilla coconut surf. This was the fresh island coconut, Pacific palm, and driftwood. Let me smell this again. Yeah. This, oh my god, this takes me back. But yeah, there is definitely a component of like Honolulu Sun sort of beachy, almost like sunscreen coconut fragrance. I feel like is definitely in, yeah, they kind of share a similarity there. So that was Honolulu Sun right there. She wanted a winter citrus wreath, amazing fragrance. I don't really understand why this doesn't come out in candle, but I would say Ice Winter Balsam is probably like the closest thing we'll get to this. And then she wanted a pink tinsel petals. I remember actually going to the store specifically when they first had this out, and there was a hand soap sale as well. And I was like, ooh, this is gonna be anything like pink petal tea cake. And the notes on this were jasmine petals, juniper berry, and vanilla bean, and it's like not at all anything of that sort. Yeah, it's just like this clean, like just a vaguely clean fragrance to it that almost like borders laundry. And not really like jasmine or vanilla. I just don't understand this fragrance whatsoever. It has super cute packaging, but I wish this was so much more cuter and frilly, but it is not. Then lastly, she wanted the Spring Lily hand soap here as well. And what does this one say? You're awesome at being you. What does this smell like? Oh, it just smells like those like sort of grassy, if you remember like the Casablanca lily candle that we had that one year. And then I think we had like a Happy Easter's kind of like a lily bouquet fragrance. Yeah, the notes on this say white Casablanca lily, soft breeze, and cocooning musk. So kind of like that. Casablanca lily is probably the closest I can compare it to. So that's the Spring Lily fragrance right there. Like got sort of like a grassy green spring floral is what that one comes off as. And then she just wanted a few wallflowers. So we got her a snowflakes and cashmere right here. It's just the body care fragrance that we know. A fresh cut lilacs. And then honeysuckle and peach spritz. This, I actually really enjoy this. Oh my god, I would love this candle again. But we did not get it again. But it's interesting that this one comes out as a wallflower though. But yeah. And then, even though I was looking for a rose lychee 3-wick candle, I could never find it, but I did find a single rando rose lychee wallflower that day. So I did get that one. And even though I normally don't use wallflowers, just because I really wanted my rose lychee fix, I just plugged in my scent control one on the lowest setting and already put it in my bathroom. So that's why just the tag is left over. Yeah, oh my gosh. Well, whatever. If it comes out, if I see it again, but if not, it is what it is. So I did at least get a wallflower of it, and it's doing great in the bathroom. But I just sometimes just get a little like suffocated by the wallflower fragrances now that I just really don't use them anymore. So yeah, it is what it is. So that was my whopping SAS and spring haul, and that's pretty much it. Thanks so much. Let me know your thoughts on all the new spring candles that I talked about. If you found anything at SAS that was like good or juicy, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.